Training to become a calligrapher is a long and difficult process. It is said that a calligrapher needs 5 things: a good temperament, an understanding of calligraphy, good hands, endurance of pain, and the necessary tools. And if any of these 5 are missing, it is no good even if you strive for 100 years. It's necessary to know how to prepare and maintain your own materials, especially your ink, pen and paper. So a calligrapher uses a variety of pens. It really depends on the size and style of the work. So it may be a metal nib or a bone nib or bamboo. But for our purpose, these sort of pens, which are originally from Iran, are perfect for practicing or for mesh. This is how the pen looks before it is opened. And ideally you choose one that is the width of your hand span. And then you measure around 3 to 4 fingers from the tip of the narrowest point of the reed, and then you start to shave away using a calligraphy knife. It is known that students in the art of Islamic calligraphy would take their reed pen and leave it at the grave of a deceased calligraphy master. They would come and take it back a week later in the hope that the pen has some blessing and can help them in their training. Okay, so now we'll look at the ink. The ink is made from soot, gum arabic and water, and each time a calligrapher is about to start to write, they will stir the ink and add a few drops of water. So the ink looks thick, but that's because there is silk inside. So we have a silk wad like this, taken from the silk cocoon. And the purpose of the silk is to prevent spillage and just to help the calligrapher put the right amount of ink onto the pen nib, so you don't get too much. So when a calligrapher is going to write a final composition, they use a coated paper called ahar paper, and it's made from egg white and alum, and it's applied to the surface of the paper and it gives it a shine and it acts like a varnish. It's left to age for about a year, and it means that if a calligrapher makes a mistake, they can either wipe it off or scratch it off with a knife. And you can see the difference between the uncoated and the coated side, how it shines. And it shines through the help also of a burnishing method. But even with all the right tools, real progress in the art comes from studying and watching a Hoja or a master at work. There's a well-known saying in Arabic that calligraphy is hidden in the instruction of a master. Its constancy is maintained by much practice, and its continuity is contingent upon the religion Islam. So the demanding process of learning Islamic calligraphy is made easier through the help of studying with a teacher. In Istanbul, you would go perhaps once or twice a week to see the calligraphy teacher, and your work would be corrected in front of the whole class. It's akin to having everybody in the doctor's surgery with you, listening in on both the ailments and the cure. But the benefit of this practice and method is that means everybody can benefit from someone else's mistakes. So in the study of Thuluth and Nusk, perhaps the 2 most popular scripts today, the training starts when the Hoja or master gives the student a special prayer to write. It's called the Rabbi Yassir. Rabbi Yassir, wala tu'assir, Rabbi tammim bil khair. O Lord, make things easy, do not make them difficult. O Lord, make everything turn out well. Once the student has written this to a satisfactory level, the student will be passed on to the next lesson, which is to write individual letters of the Arabic alphabet, known as mufradat. This will either be provided to them by the Hoja, or they will use a practice book, such as this one, by the 19th century calligrapher Shawki Effendi. This practice is called taqlid, or imitation, and it can take some months, even a couple of years. It really depends on the student and how hard they work. So the Hoja not only looks for skill in the student, but also patience too, and dedication. Hattat Hasan Çelebi, the master calligrapher in Istanbul, always tells his students, put 30 hours into your working day. So after completing writing the single letters, the pupil is then instructed to write combined letters, known as murakkabat. The proportions are crucial to the letter shapes, and red dots are used by the teacher to show the correct dimensions. To mark the lesson, the teacher writes the correct letter forms underneath the student's work using measuring dots. So writing a meshk, where you write the same words or letters repeatedly, is an essential part of both the training and the practice of a calligrapher. So training culminates in the ijaza, or the calligraphy license, and it permits the new calligrapher to sign his or her own work and to earn the title khattat, or calligrapher. This process takes about 5 years, but can take as many as 20. It really depends on the student and their circumstances. The certificate is awarded at a ceremony known as an ijazat töreni. The ijazat text is written in the hand of the student in the scripts for which the diploma is being awarded. Sometimes more than one teacher will sign the license. My ijaza ceremony took place in 2005 at the Yildiz Palace in Istanbul. My license is signed by 2 masters, Hattat Efdaluddin Kilic and Hattat Hasan Çelebi. The ijaza does not mean that the one who attains it writes without imperfection. It just indicates that the calligrapher has reached a certain level, but not the highest one. It marks the beginning of the career of the calligrapher. It takes many more years to master the art, especially when it comes to writing compositions. Generally, a person cannot become a calligrapher without training and using the method we've just described. Aspects of the letters are so detailed, they are microscopic. Hattat Hasan Çelebi says, if a letter deviates from the proper form, even as much as the size of a flea's liver, it will be ugly. The flea's liver is a metaphorical dimension, but it's here to illustrate just how detailed the letters are. But when a detail as small as a flea's liver is missed, then the beauty of the writing is lost. The link between student and master is very important. And Istanbul has remained the centre of calligraphy largely because of the master apprenticeship system, in which established principles are transmitted from generation to generation. According to Turkish sources, the method of training to become a calligrapher was initiated in the first half of the 15th century. This chain of transmission has remained unbroken up to the present day. The struggle to attain almost perfection in the art never ends. Calligraphers who lived into the 90s are known to have lamented about not having enough time to master the art. Hattab Hamid Effendi, who died in 1982 at the age of 90, said that even 100 years was not enough to master the art.